Do you know what this is? Stay tuned and we'll talk about it. Hi everybody, welcome back to another video by Pan Society. I'm Cherie, and today I want to talk about elder. I'm currently holding elderberries, but I want to talk about the entire plant, tree or bush, whichever you consider it, because the entire thing is usable, whether it's magical or medicinal. So let's start off with the magical part of it. So elder, and that's how I'm going to call it the whole time, is elder, because this specifically is elderberries. Elder, the entire plant, magically it's a feminine plant. It's ruled by Venus, so there's a lot of that feminine energy that goes along with it. There is lore that witches used to live in it, or spirits live in it, because when you cut the branches, it bleeds. The sap is red, so it looks like it's bleeding. So there was always a lot of superstition around the wood itself. In Great Britain, in ancient times, in the barrows, the elder bushes were used in burial rites. It's used everywhere for protection, blessing. I've heard of exorcism as well. Never witnessed it myself. And then, but overall, like, they would take branches of it and create like either wreaths or little hangings, or take the split of when two branches split and use that to hang things off of to ward evil away. So this would be hung near doorways or over places that people would walk through. If you wanted to bless someone, you would actually use the berry, and you would toss the berries to the four winds while calling that person's name, or you could do it with an item or an object, saying that item or object's name, and that's how you would bless them. When you have the branch itself, you'll hear that a lot of wands are made from elder, and that's because it has a lot of magical properties, a lot of lore behind it, and a lot of the feminine energy, although I see a lot more men holding it, so maybe there's a balance thing there. I would harvest it at certain times for whatever you need it for, because if it is definitely one of those woods, if it's not ready for you or you're not ready for it, it acts funny when drying. So be aware of that and your intentions when you're harvesting it for your wands or whatever else you want to create out of it. So on to the medicinal side. Before we get to the elderberries, where each of these little berries are, in the spring blooms a beautiful teeny tiny white flower that is so sweet and fragrant. And that is the elderflower. So you'll hear that spoken like elderflower syrup or cordial or a fizzy drink. Sometimes people use it for cookies and stuff because it does have medicinal properties. Also, magically, the elderflower is used for blessings and warding away evil and prosperity and stuff in the springs, because it is one of the first, no, I won't say one of the first, it's one of the later blooming flowers in the spring. So, coming back medicinally, you most likely will have your choice of whether you're choosing to use the elderflower or if you want to wait and get the berries, because they have two different ways of working for you. If you are lucky, you live in a place where the bush will bloom twice a year and you'll get double abundance. Or unless your bush is huge and amazing, you can take half the flowers and then leave the other half to grow into berries later. So choice is up to you. Or if you live in a place that's just abundant with elderberry or elder, then you really have your heart's options. When it becomes an elderberry, do not eat the berries. They have a slight toxicity right now while they're fresh and plump and juicy. You want to clip it off like this, and you're going to let it dry until these things shrivel up and become so teeny tiny and rock hard. That is when the toxicity leaves it, and then you can use it to make either tinctures, elixirs, or one of my favorites, elderberry syrup. Because of its amazing antiviral properties, it is great for combating flu symptoms. So this is why one of those times that, like, now is the time to start harvesting this and drying it out, so that when flu season, if you're going to tincture it, now's the time to start tincturing, because it takes 6 weeks to make if you're going to be ready for flu season to roll around. But Elderberry syrup is one of those fantastic things because you can make it that day, use it that day, but it does have a shelf life and it needs to be refrigerated. So tincture and elixir does not, it's a 3 to 5 year shelf life, whereas elderberry syrup is not so much. It's a couple of weeks shelf life. This is one of those amazing plants that pretty much grows everywhere. It's not very finicky out in nature. It does have a couple of different varieties to it. So if you live in a wooded area, it probably already exists around you somewhere. You just haven't seen it yet, or because you haven't, you don't know how to identify it. You just haven't noticed. Very super easy to grow. If you do want to cultivate it in your yard, be aware that the way it spreads is it shoots under the ground and just pops up, right? In the best conditions, it will go crazy and take over and get really huge. And then leaving it alone and not trimming it down, it gets really tall as well. So I think it gets like 8 feet or so. So keep that in mind if you're trying to harvest and all your berries and flowers are way above your head. But it will also create the branches that you need to make either wands out of it if you want to make wands, or hanging pieces for your door frame or whatever. You can go harvest it from the wild, or if you want to grow some, I wanted to try out the different varieties where I live because our climate is kind of, hit or miss depending on the year. So I ordered a couple of different kinds and they all actually did very well here. So even the European varieties that I had, had bare roots sent to me did extremely well here. The size of the berries are different, but other than that, I think medicinally and magically it's, the same. It's interchangeable. So, if you're interested, I don't know why I smell this because you don't smell, but if you're interested, these are extremely easy to grow. There's tons to do with them. I'm going to write a blog post about some recipes that you can use the syrup for, and maybe some of the elderflowers as well. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time in another pan video.